Hey, Wembley World Entertainment, and we got an interesting story here because, as we all know, Trump got into office and started signing executive orders here, there, and everywhere, and seems to be the only thing he does now. But one of them that he did sign was to make it basically fully illegal to use DEI practices in your companies. Now, of course, we've seen all these companies just rename DEI so it looks like they're not using it. Disney, in fact, are getting investigated now over this practice. However, it looks like it's made possibly Paramount do a U-turn on all of the agenda with DEI regarding Star Trek. Yeah, so we're going to have a look at the article that talks about this because it's interesting, it's weird, and I don't quite believe it, to be honest with you. I think the only thing Paramount could truly do to fix Star Trek is get rid of Alex Kurtzman and actually make it about Star Trek again. But let's have a look at this anyway. So, a new rumor lands online that President Donald Trump and his administration could be responsible for, get this, making Star Trek great again. And that Paramount is pivoting away from its woke DEI policies. It's no secret that the recent shows from Paramount, particularly Discovery, have focused more on the diverse characters' representation and lecturing the audience. Say what you want about Star Trek, while true the show has always delved into social commentary, the stories have also been good. That's not something you can say about New Trek.
Please, Spock, do me a favor, and don't say it's fascinating. No. But it is interesting.
Now, a rumor hits that Paramount is making a big U-turn in regards to Star Trek Strange New Worlds. Following already cancelling and seemingly erasing Discovery from canon, it's said that Paramount is, get this, reshooting Star Trek Strange New Worlds Season 3 because they deemed it to be too woke, and as a result, the new season is delayed. The info comes via the Tycoon Pulse podcast on YouTube, who recently said Russell T Davies will be exiting Doctor Who at the request of Disney. The YouTuber has also said that he heard of Star Trek at Paramount. Alex Kurtzman could be out by Christmas. In fairness, that'd be because his contract is up. And a separate rumor says that new Star Trek Academy series is undergoing major reshoots, which happens to star Marvel trans activist actress Tatiana Maslany. So, just so you know, when they say trans activist, they're not saying Tatiana Maslany is trans. They're saying she goes around pushing for trans kids and stuff. As you saw when she was promoting She-Hulk wearing a Trans Kids Lives Matter t-shirt and all that crap. So, it continues saying, regarding Strange New Worlds, the YouTuber points to the reason for the reshoots and Paramount pivoting away from DEI and wokeness is because of recent comments made by Trump-appointed FCC Chairman Brendan Carr, who recently told Bloomberg, any businesses that are looking for FCC approval, I would encourage them to get busy ending any sort of their invidious form of DEI discrimination. Now, what that is basically what we've been seeing Hollywood doing for this whole time, which is basically, hey, if you're white, no need to apply because you ain't getting this job. That's what this is. They're basically telling you, you can't do that. And by the way, before this was ever signed into legislation and all that type of crap, and all these forms were signed to say, oh, you can't do these practices, it was always illegal to do these practices. It was always illegal to discriminate against one person to another. You know, you couldn't just go, oh, we're only going to hire black people. No, you had to put people of all backgrounds in there. Same with you couldn't hire all white people. There always had to be a black people in there. But it's now in law that, yeah, by the way, if you're caught doing this, you're completely screwed. So this continues saying, Paramount is currently undergoing approval to merge with Skydance. It has been obvious that Paramount went the DEI route with its Star Trek franchise and may have even received funding from DEI initiatives. Now that the Trump administration has to approve the Skydance merger and is against all the DEI nonsense, Paramount is likely shifting its direction accordingly. So it's very well possible we could see a return to great stories in Star Trek again. Now, this goes on a little bit and kind of just waffles on about the first 2 seasons. But do I believe this, as I've said at the start? No, because all they're going to do is just rebrand it. They're not going to have it as obvious, but it's going to be rebranded. Because all the DEI bullshit that's in modern Trek is still going to be in there. You look at Starfleet Academy that's coming up, you still have the trans actor, actress, whatever the hell they are, that's going to be a part of it. The one who lectured people on pronouns in Discovery. You're still having all that. You're still having all the actors who are turning around now who are married with kids and going, oh, by the way, I'm non-binary and shit. And it's like, sure you are. Or is it just that you were losing a job and you decided, hey, I'll push this identity crap and I'll get hired everywhere? All of that is going to continue with this modern day Trek. Make no bones about it. Under Alex Kurtzman, that's still very much the case. I've heard nothing other than this article, absolutely nothing about Strange New Worlds going for reshoots or Starfleet Academy going for reshoots. And I think you would have heard about that elsewhere in more bigger articles, and that hasn't happened. So I don't know what the accuracy is to that story of they're going through reshoots. And we know that they've both finished wrapping. In fact, Strange New World Season 3 wrapped filming almost a year ago, I think. It was like so long ago that actually wrapped filming, because they are currently filming Season 4. So I don't know how you're filming a 4th season, but you're going to go back and redo a 3rd season. That doesn't make sense to me. Either way, will they change course? Maybe in the future, when Kurtzman's contract is up, which, as I said in the last Star Trek video I did, I believe is up this year. But will they change course while he's there? Yeah, no. They'll just rebrand it as something different. We'll have to wait and actually see what happens. But that's the rumor doing the rounds, that they're changing course. They're doing a big U-turn. They're reshooting Season 3 and the first season of Academy and Strange New World. So we'll wait and see what happens. So with that, I shall leave it there for this one. Like, share, subscribe. You know the drill. Cheers, and I'll catch you in the next.